tell us about the InsideOut Mental Health Charter?
Yeah, so it's set up by a company called InsideOut, and it revolves around kind of 7 core principles that organisations have to adhere to. So those include appointing an executive sponsor for mental health and wellbeing, ensuring that twice yearly any activities are incorporated into our board reports, and making sure that mental health is kind of at the heart of everything we do, both kind of colleague-wise and us as a business.
I know that you had big plans for the group regarding mental health. How did COVID throw a spanner in the work?
It impacted us massively. Last year we kind of set out our strategy for 2020, and a lot of those activities were face-to-face, and with the pandemic and lockdown, as you know, we had to shift everything and think about different ways that we can engage with our colleagues and make sure that that wellbeing is at the heart of what we look at. So things included ensuring that we had kind of daily staff rooms for colleagues in both offices in Ireland and South Africa to engage with each other, make sure they take the time out of their day to really stop working and just have some conversation with people across the group was really impactful. We also had Secret Santa style messages where colleagues got anonymous messages from colleagues around the business and even people they might not correspond with day to day, and we saw a big uplift. The feedback was really impactful from that. And we also had some of our directors call colleagues, and in fact our CEO actually shifted from doing monthly updates for our staff to actually weekly updates on a Friday, which encouraged loads of good conversation. And then following that, we organised some quizzes and some other activities for teams to take part on, so they still felt that essence of teamwork, albeit they were all in separate houses.
So how did you deal with the physical health aspect of it?
So from a physical health perspective, there was activities that were organised, including HIIT classes, and we also had some yoga, and that happened on a kind of weekly basis. And we also had Danny Kane, personal trainer, who came in during Mental Health Awareness Week, and he did some talking around kind of nutrition and dieting. Obviously with the pandemic it wasn't as easy to go out and get your healthy items or go to the gym, for example, so colleagues are quite interested to see what kind of foods they could have, how much they should have of it and how often they should have it, and we had good feedback from that also.
So what are you doing now when Ireland has taken away the lockdown?
So we've done a couple of activities. So obviously recently we had World Mental Health Day, so we had a couple of activities in terms of going out for daily walks, and we also held a random act of kindness day where colleagues were allocated another colleague from across the business, and they would deliver them an item of kindness. So it might have been a bunch of flowers or as little as a hug, and people felt really engaged with that as well. And I think we've not just got an Isle of Man office, we've also got a South Africa office, so we've been engaging them a lot as well to make sure that they felt included as they're still in a phase of lockdown, which is completely different to us in the Isle of Man.
How have colleagues responded to the mental health initiatives?
Yeah, so when we came back into the office, what we wanted to make sure is we got a good standard of survey results so we can kind of work on, we don't know how this pandemic's going to run, so if this was to happen again, what we could do differently. So we asked questions such as did they feel safe? Did they feel like they were cared about from a group perspective? And how did we actually react to the pandemic? So that means kind of how quickly did we do it? Did we operate well as a business? And the scores were at a minimum kind of 7 out of 10, and we had quite a good selection of verbatim comments from colleagues across the business, which was really good. And actually we found out quite recently that we as a group have been shortlisted in the 2020 Engage Awards for the best support strategy during a crisis.
I've seen on your social media that you have a Capital Cup. Can you please tell me a bit about it?
Yeah, so the Capital Cup was set up quite recently, and it's spanning over a 12-month period. What we've kind of done is split colleagues into 4 different houses, 2 named after South African mountains and 2 named after Isle of Man mountains. And it's really about giving colleagues the kind of platform to work with colleagues they've never spoken to before, create some teamwork and really get together and think outside the box with different event ideas. So quite recently we had a sports day where 50 of our colleagues attended. And there was real competitive nature about that, and we've got some other events coming up, such as dressing up for Halloween, photography competitions, bake-offs, you name it. We've kind of left that to colleagues to come up with good ideas, and we should see how that progresses over the next 12 months, so make sure you check out on social media because there'll be lots more activity coming up that you'll see.